Jeremiah chapter 29 verse 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. The recent COVID-19 pandemic has changed everything around us. From our basic way of living to celebration of big events, everything has suddenly shifted to what we call the new normal. Today, our dear parents and their children who patiently waited may say, finally, it's over. Dr. Santiago Dakudao Senior National High School proudly presents its virtual fourth graduation ceremony for this school year 2020-2021 with the theme, Kalidad ng Edukasyon, lalong patatagin sa gitna ng pandemya. To start with, this most awaited event has never been made possible without the support of the equally and highly esteemed individuals from the Schools Division of Davao City, led by the dynamic and very supportive Schools Division Superintendent Reynaldo M. Galeana, CISO 5, the epitome of an empowered man, and our active Public Schools District Supervisor for Cluster 4, Dr. Bernabe M. Alinkaya. Our dedicated and very young at heart school head, Dr. Mary Joy H. Simua, Principal 2. Our very passionate senior high school focal person, Dr. Hazel L. Taladwa. Other distinguished men and women of the entire academic community, colleagues, members of the graduating class, proud parents, guardians, friends, ladies and gentlemen, a pleasant and joyous viewing to all. To begin with, may we all stand as we pay tribute to our national flag through the singing of the Philippine National Anthem, followed by the singing of our Davao Original Hymn and Himno Davaoeño through video presentation.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit kong pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iibig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magdidinig. Luman ang araw ng walhagit pagsingka, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya ng pagkay mga amin, at mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Pinanggang yuta, may bukid apo nga labing taas. Haring agilan na sudnong langgang, walin-walin haras sa kamulakan. May ulawan ug haring durian, lubi ug saging, bugas damian, yutang gimahal sa Davaoeño, makugihong mga tao. Ang milangko, mga probinsya, mga dakbayan nagkahiusa, may gituuhan nga Dios. Davao de Oro, Davao Oriental, del Norte Occidental, del Sur, siyudad sa Davao, Panabutagong, Samal Island, Mati ug Digos. Davao region gipanalikdan, mga bahan din kinaiyahan, yutang tabunok daghanang nindot nga kapanginabuhian. Garbo sa tanan ng Davao region, among yutang agipanggan.
Please remain standing for the invocation.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فقال ربكم ادعوني أستجب لكم آمين يا رب العالمين الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين اللهم اجمع شامل المسلمين والكريستيان والأمة في مدينة داباو وسلم دائما مجتمعنا هذا بالسلم والأمن والتقدم في بلدنا هذا آمين يا رب العالمين ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا إنك أنت الوهاب ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار وصلى الله على خير خلقه سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين يا رب العالمين.
In the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. Amen. Our most gracious Heavenly Father, we come to you today to praise and worship you and give you thanks for all the things you continue to provide for ourselves and our families. Father, we humbly ask for forgiveness for all the times we have offended you, when we forget to acknowledge your presence in the image of our brothers and sisters, and for moments we fail to be good stewards of the blessings you have given us. Continue to guide and protect each one of us, Lord, that we may always walk in the light of your everlasting love and mercy. Grant us, Father, with your comfort in times of distress and with your strength in times of weakness. Bestow upon us your unending grace and healing, that we may in turn become instruments of gentleness and compassion to others. We ask all this in the name of your Son, our Lord Jesus Christ, with the prayer and the intercession of our Blessed Mother. Amen.
We now present to you the Senior High School Faculty Teaching Staff of Dr. Santiago Dakudao Senior National High School. The Grade 11 faculty members: Angelica Bianca A. Zeta, Alan A. Missy, Cristobal Christopher C. Berandoy, Dexter A. Licom, Early J. Bagnol, Joanne C. Celedonio, Rodora Z. Pagaran. The Grade 12 faculty members: Anna Marie T. Sugano, Arlene D. Dorado, Farrellyn V. Estrellado, Hazel L. Caladua, Maria Nana Rose F. Figuracion, Rolly N. Morales, to inspire our graduates, we shall now hear important messages from the following key persons. Our Secretary of Education, Dr. Leonor M. Briones.
Good day to each and everyone who is attending virtually present at this time of our graduation ceremonies for our beloved and very precious graduates for the school year which ends at this time. First of all, I'd like to greet the parents and family members without whose sacrifices, whose reminders, and whose participation in the learning process for our graduates have resulted in this culmination program. This year, your role has changed drastically, where we've always thought, we've always believed that the matter of educating our children rests nearly exclusively on our teachers and our staff. This time, you parents, you family members, you who are in the households of our learners have expanded your role and contributed to this wonderful day wherein finally our learners are graduating in this culmination exercise. So congratulations, because this year has not been very easy, has not been a picnic for our teachers, for our family members, as well, especially the parents, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and all who have contributed to the achievement of our learners at this time. So, maraming salamat at congratulations, parents and family members. Mas malaki ang role ninyo at this time compared to earlier graduation exercises. Secondly, I would also like to greet our teachers, without whose very careful review and careful supervision of the work of our pupils and our learners, this event would not be taking place at all. And so thank you, teachers. Your role has also expanded, in addition to seeing to it that the modules are faithfully followed, the assignments are correctly implemented, and the learners are truly learning. And you have had to deal with new ways of assessing the performance also of the learners. So congratulations, teachers, for enduring, for your patience, for your love for our learners, and your willingness to engage in a way and methods of teaching which are different from those which are used to. Assessment must have been especially difficult for you, especially since you were not able to see most of the time our students in face-to-face meetings, and most of the meetings, of course, were virtual. We'd also like to thank the local government units for their interest, for their cooperation, and for their continuing contributions to the needs of education, even as our children do not go to school. Your donations of material as well as financial resources at this time are most welcome, and your advice has been taken seriously not only by our teachers, by our school officials, but also by our officials in the Department of Education. We continually talk with local government units, especially in times of disaster, in times of great need for classrooms, for space, and for responses to unforeseen emergencies. Thank you, local government units. But of course, most of the congratulatory greetings fall on the deserving graduate Each and every one of you is truly special. You are different from the other graduates who have passed through the portals of your school. You went to school practically without seeing your teachers, if at all. You went to school with your parents, your mothers, and your fathers hovering over your shoulders and seeing to it that you are able to complete your assignments. You are completing your studies at a time when examinations and assessments are different. You are culminating these long months of hard work at this time, even as you have to do family chores, even as you are distracted, and even as your world has turned upside down, and it seems and it appears as if we don't know what the future holds and what will happen next. But you have persevered, and now you are ready to graduate. And therefore, you deserve each and every bit of congratulations from us in the Department of Education, from your parents and family members, your teachers, from the officials in local government, as well as in the parent teachers associations. You deserve each and every single congratulatory pat on your back, each hug virtually, of course, and each greeting, which I am sure you are also receiving virtually. I don't know if you will remember this event many, many years from now. I have tried to recall myself who our graduation speaker was when I finished high school and when I finished my college studies. All I remember is that the graduation speaker was someone important, someone who was invited because that someone is supposed to give a message. What was more important to us graduates at that time was the excitement of the celebrations, the happiness and the joy of our parents, the sadness of parting from our classmates and from our teachers, and the enjoyment of all the graduation events that usually take place come commencement day. When I was a college student, we had a series of events which were designed to embed in our minds, which were designed to help us remember and not forget our days in college. We would spend one whole day going around the campus, visiting the classrooms, saying goodbye to our teachers, and sharing memories. We would have bonfires to say goodbye to each other. We had baccalaureate services where we committed ourselves to God and we prayed for guidance when we go out into the world. So many celebrations, and the speaker, of course, is the least important and easily forgotten component of the graduation exercise. Nonetheless, I will exert all efforts to share with you what I see are things or issues which a graduate should remember and recall. I have said that you are very special. You are very different. You are pioneering. There has been no other class like your class. There has been no other graduate like you. as a graduating student because you are the very first graduate of the blended learning response to education in the Philippines. And so you ask yourself, what awaits you in the world outside? You can either work because the kind of curriculum you survived and underwent as a student will enable you to go to work if you wish to go to work. Some of you will proceed to further studies, and this would be a wonderful thing because there are many opportunities for further expanding your knowledge, for further answering and looking for explanations of issues, events that make you curious, especially in science, in technology, and also in the arts. So you can work, you can go to further studies, and perhaps some of you will settle down, hopefully not too soon, so you can pursue what you really want to do. So today, this is why we call this exercise a commencement exercise. It's not the end of our studies. It's not the end of all our efforts with blended learning, with modules, with floods, with earthquakes, and of course with COVID. It's a commencement of doors opening to you. More doors will be opened because you are a graduate. You can work, you can proceed for further studies, you can help your parents, and you can perhaps look for opportunities to do what you have always wanted to do, whether at work, whether at advanced studies, whether at learning more in science and technology, in mathematics, and in the arts. All of these opportunities are available to you. More doors are being opened. I hope you will select the door which arouses your curiosity, the door which will help you know more about this world, and the door which will allow you to contribute to the development of our country and contribute whatever we can to solve our problems and our challenges. Congratulations once more to each and every one of you. Congratulations to you, parents and family members. Congratulations to you, teachers. When I was chair of the board of Silliman University, each time we had graduation ceremonies, during the baccalaureate and during commencement itself, I would cry. I would cry because you are sending out into the world a new batch of graduates, and we want to be sure that what is awaiting them is appropriate. We want to be sure that they are ready for what awaits them when they select which door to open. And so we tell you, go out to the world, do whatever you want to do. God be with you, and be assured that all of us love each and every one of you. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Dr. Briones, for the very inspiring and insightful messages you imparted today. Your words will surely guide our graduates as they stride a new path in their lives. May your messages motivate them to strive harder. Our Regional Director, Alan G. Farnazo, CISO 4.
Intensifying education in this time of pandemic is truly a Herculean challenge. We have been strengthening quality education over the years, but we are now confronted with the new normal where we need to change learning modalities and strategies swiftly. Making them responsive is even more challenging, not to mention exciting. Dear graduates and parents, the school year 2020-2021 will be written in two different ways in our history. One would be a story of resilience. The other would be accounts of discovery and creativity. No matter how we look at each story, we are faced with a puzzling truth of survival and success. Yes, we have survived 1 year of no face-to-face interaction inside the classroom. We survive with learning through the help of modules or online delivery and instructions, or radio and TV-based instructions. I would like to commend every school for preparing comprehensively its learning continuity plan with alternative actions and solutions for those who need interventions. Our more than 1.4 million enrollees in public and private schools from kindergarten to grade 12 have shared their stories of joy and sadness. Some of them are glad to experience staying and learning at home together with their parents or siblings, while others feel sad not seeing their classmates and teachers. Our more than 44,000 teachers have walked extra miles, ensuring no learner will be left behind. I commend their sacrifices, hard work, and a lot of creativities. They innovated and unleashed their potentials in this time of pandemic. We have witnessed how they have become instant videographers, broadcasters, writers, artists, bikers, and many more. We have proven that education can continue anytime and anywhere, even with this pandemic that threatens us. Congratulations to all of you graduates, parents, teachers, and our educational leaders for, by looking at all these challenges as opportunities to learn and grow, you showed how resilient you can be. The department in this time is prouder to see all of you endure the test of time. This pandemic has connected all of us to think of each other's safety and welfare. Let us continue to pray for healing. Let us continue to pray for hope and for better days.
Thank you, sir, for inspiring our graduates and everyone who is watching right now. Our school's division superintendent, Reynaldo M. Diliena, CISO 5.
To the school head, teachers, non-teaching personnel, parents, other guests, and the stars on today's occasion, you graduates of SY 2020-2021. Good day to all of you. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela once opined, education is the greatest tool all of us can maximize to make a difference in the lives of the people. Education is a passport to a better future. With education, one can significantly contribute to building the nation. Education remains as a constant pursuit for knowledge and wisdom in spite of the uncertainty of the times. The continuous delivery of education has been one of the challenges brought about by this worldwide pandemic. We, as educators, persevered to fight for the education of our children. COVID-19 may have spread its malediction worldwide, but it could never dampen the spirit of hope among the Filipinos who continue to fight for life in response to the need of our learners. The Department of Education, Division of Davao City, geared up for different learning delivery modalities for school year 2020-2021. While most of the workers have been working from home, our students have also been learning from home. The present time has seen different modes and methods of delivering education in lieu of the traditional face-to-face classes. Various modes of education include modular approach, online classes, blended learning, television and radio broadcasting delivered through asynchronous sessions, and others. All of these different modes of learning deliveries, methods, and platforms have one goal: to ensure the continuous delivery of education among the students. It is the primary aim of the schools division to help provide quality education for all learners who belong to diverse cultural, economic, and socio-political strata in society. Throughout the years, the Department of Education has continued to implement its core function of ensuring access to promoting equity in and improving the quality of basic education through various learning institutions and educational programs. And so with some relevant partnerships with local and international stakeholders. The Department of Education thrives by its mandate to be the formulator of the education processes, policies, and system in the Philippines. At this juncture, let me thank everyone who helped in making the continuous delivery of education possible. To the teachers, for your unwavering dedication and selfless hearts for service, for educating the youth, this commendation. To the parents, the achievements of your children will not be realized without your love, sacrifice, patience, and guidance. The graduation ceremonies would not be possible without your constant support and assistance. This graduation is not only an occasion to celebrate the milestone and achievements of your sons and daughters. This is also the moment where you, dear parents, should be honored. To the graduating class, congratulations. With the grace of God, your courage, determination, and hard work paid off. Use your education to excel, inspire, and most importantly, render your talents for the welfare of the nation. As the hope of the nation, you have the responsibility to keep the light of knowledge burning for all the time to come. One day, some of you will lead the nation as others will have continued the perseverance to serve the country through their chosen profession. Never forget to be grateful to God for all the blessings you have been given. Do your best in everything you do. Pray to discern the path, profession, or vocation which God has called you to do. Pray for the strength to do your calling, your mission. As you leave the portals of this institution, do not prepare for college only, for the next step, for the next chapter of education. Remember to study and work with faith, hope, integrity, honesty, passion, diligence, and dignity, and the spirit of altruism. In the future, once you have finished your studies, remember that giving your time, talents, and service to your respective communities in your chosen field is a way of giving back, of bringing positive change to society. Again, I would say education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Daghang salamat and mabuhay tayong lahat.
Thank you, Sir Giliana, for being a catalyst in inspiring the graduates. Our active Public Schools District Supervisor for Cluster 4, Dr. Bernabe M. Alicaya.
How are you today? A warm day for everybody. To our learners, the kindergarten, the grade 6 schoolers, the 10th graders, and the senior high school, parents, teachers, school heads, and other stakeholders that contributed much to the learning process of our learners. Education amidst this pandemic requires convergence of effort, requires concerted effort so that learning competence will be delivered to the best that it can be. Education somehow is challenged by so many factors. It's challenged by the modality that we deliver, and the most of all, the challenges that we are facing is how to monitor the progress of this modality of learning that we want them to have. Teachers are making it to the top of their capacity while tapping the learners in any other form, while parents also doing their part, recognizing their support, recognizing the need to become a parent-teacher in a way that they can manage the study habits of their children, of their learners. Now we come into a moment wherein we can harvest the fruit of our labor, both the parent, the teachers, and the school heads. My salutation to all of you for the unwavering effort, unwavering energy. Continue to be grounded with the truth that we are provided with all the blessings that we need so that we can continue our services to the people. Let us not allow that this pandemic will hamper or will dampen the processes of education that we need to deliver to all the learners. This will just pass by, and God promises to us that He will be with us through all the generation. Education is the only utility that we can have to survive life. Education is the only tool that we can understand on every situation in life that we need to go along. Education, thereby, as a utility, will be giving us the truth that we need to survive, because we cannot ask God to stop the pandemic, because by nature, it will be just dying by its natural death. What we will be praying to God is the truth that He will equip us physically to make us mentally strong, spiritually updated, so that we can somehow enjoy life amidst this pandemic. Education thereby considered as a right, but then Education must be worked into. We will not be successful if our students, our learners, will not develop self-efficacy as to knowing to learn how to learn. With or without the physical or the face-to-face classes, students, if develop the so-called self-efficacy, are those students who can somehow traverse life and can somehow be successful in the future. Education must be worked on, though it is very expensive if we want quality. Quality education is thereby must be a concerted effort among and in between learners, teachers, parents, community, and the top management. Our department is always invoking on quality education, but how it will be implemented, how it will be processed, is but dependent on how teachers afforded to them the opportunity, how the teachers afforded to the learners the opportunity to somehow develop the skills in learning how to learn. Congratulations to everyone. Congratulations to all the parents who contributed much to the success of their learners. Congratulations to all the teachers, and congratulations to all the stakeholders. We will not forget your contribution to the success of this very moment. And especially so, congratulations to the cream of the crop, the kindergarten learners, the grade schoolers, the 10th graders, completers, and the senior high school, which is about to leave the portal of their alma mater. Remember that if you soar high, be grounded by the faith of God that you are having in you. God will not and will never leave you in your journey. Once and for all, I am delighted with our moment today and celebration of your successes in life. Make your story a model to the next generation. Make your story that amidst this pandemic, you are capable of involving yourselves to overcome stress and to overcome difficulties in life brought by this pandemic. Once and for all, congratulations to everybody. Soar high and Godspeed.
Thank you, sir, for inspiring our graduates. Our school head, Mary Joy H. Simuag, Principal 2.
Our school's division superintendent, Reynaldo M. Giliena, CESO 5. Our public schools district supervisor of Cluster 4, Dr. Bernabe M. Alicaya. Teachers, parents, graduates, good day. To the graduates of school year 2020-2021, congratulations, for you have surpassed all the challenges in the new normal educational setting brought to us by the pandemic. But as taught by your mentors, your teachers, to be resilient always in whatever situation, you were able to withstand all the hardships along the way. Thus, as you move forward to your chosen field, may it be in the work arena or continuing your tertiary education, always instill the values taught in school, because that will define your individuality as a person. Finally, always remember, whatever chosen field you'll be choosing after this school year, every approval comes from the high above. Thus, do not easily be discouraged, for life is not a bed of roses. It's full of twists and turns, and what matters most is how you are able to respond to that journey. Once again, congratulations, and God bless your journey towards life.
Thank you, Ma'am Simuag, for touching the lives of our learners and their parents. Thank you also for your generosity. Our senior high school focal person, Dr. Hazel L. Taladwa.
Good day. A new chapter begins, and it is a good moment to reflect on the past and look ahead to the future. For all of us, the year-long road was never easy. Despite of the difficulties, you managed to get to the finish line, which is your graduation day. Always remember to give thanks to those who assisted you in reaching this milestone as you spread your wings. Your parents, family, and teachers who never stopped encouraging you to achieve your goals. Chase your dreams. Never stop trying. Never stop learning. Live life to the fullest. Give it nothing but your best. And inspire others around you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Ma'am Taladwa, for that heartwarming and uplifting speech. Our senior high school curriculum head, Angelica Bianca A. Zeta.
To the school's division superintendent, Reynaldo M. Guiliena, CESO 5. Public Schools District Supervisor of Cluster 4, Dr. Bernabe M. Alicaya. Principal 2 of Dr. Santiago Dakudao Senior National High School, Dr. Mary Joy H. Simoan. Fellow teachers, parents, and graduates, good day. It is such a great pleasure to celebrate this momentous event in your life today. I just want to congratulate you all for an excellent job and wish you more of these blissful moments, celebrating your achievement in reaping the fruits of your hard work. To make all your dreams come true, you need perseverance. Let it be your light in hours of darkness, and of course, your applause as you reflect on more successes in the future. Our dear graduates, as your teacher, we play a very important role in honing and shaping your life as partners of your parents. We are your backbones who are giving you support in all your needs and interests. Thus, we need to work to achieve our goal, which is to develop you holistically, ready to face the outside world and all the realities in life. Furthermore, may you see your teachers' efforts in teaching you how to value little things, so that you will be able to value your efforts in attaining big things in the future. Our dear graduates, we also teach you sense of responsibility on everything you do, especially on your academics and co-curricular activities, which will teach you about self-trust, accountability, and more obligation. Always remember that God has a plan for you. Pursue it with the sincerest effort you can muster. Have faith and move on in spite of this pandemic. Let us always be grateful to Dr. Santiago Dakudao Senior National High School for teaching us the core values of faith, excellence, and service. As I live a noteworthy quotation from famous philosopher Confucius, our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Once again, our dear graduates, my warmest felicitations to all of you, for you had successfully finished your senior high school in spite of the crisis we face brought by the pandemic. Soar high, graduates of 2021.
Thank you, Ma'am Zeta, for that wonderful and inspiring message. And now, the main highlight of today's event is about to unfold in our midst. A certificate of graduation is the tangible evidence of being a graduate in a certain level of education. This is now the fruit of each student's accomplishments. To start with the presentation of graduates, let me call on Ma'am Feralyn V. Estrellado, Advisor of Grade 12 at TINA.
Technical Vocational Livelihood Track, Home Economic Strength, Specializations in Bread and Pastry Production and C2, Food and Beverage Services and NC2, and Kukiri NC2. Acaredo Ruel J. Gray M. Adino John Lloyd R. Aureo Michael N. Bendijo Arnel C. Dicorion Joshua A. Lisbos Janelle S. Manigos Anthony James M. Pederet John Mark S. Ranieses John Lloyd C. Singo Dante Jr. D. Aguilar Rose M. Agustin Monica E. Ake Donacel F. Aringo Fritzy Jules P. Bangaw Grace D. Barkin Ishimei G. Cabilia Angela May M. Ferrer Maricris A. Magliwanas Pigeon D. Umandam Princess Avril A. Pasis Stephanie A. Paraiso Mayanj A. Rivera Rizame N. Simon Janelle C.
Mom Arlene D. Dorado, Advisor of Grade 12 Aphrodite. General Academic Strand with elective in housekeeping NC2. Bahaw J. Lord B. Caniedo Jomari S. Diaz Bradley T. Vichilia Roying Emiko B. Gamalo Charlie B. Gonzales Cedric D. Hontong Renner C. Masopon Aldren Q. Migiso Gemar C. Monticalvo Kim Serwin B. Nipomucino Ray S. Aurelia Noel E. Silvano Darren J. R. Toleran Joshua Kim A. Amaya Kathleen L. Berna Cyril L. Dagatan Charlene C. Dimotor Rizel M. Gacho Nika I. Lavisores Rowena T. Lagnayo Lori D. Lisbos Mariela Y. Malangis Glea Tricia B. Malbago Evelyn A. Malbago Flora May D. Migiso Richel C. Olvida Girly F. Palma Christine T. Patriarca Ruth Jane L. Rika Fort Eileen D. Ma'am Maria Nana Rose F. Figuracion, Advisor of Grade 12, Poseidon.
General academic strength with elective in housekeeping NC2. Bahen Darrell R. Bunaoy Rogelio Jr. A. Garcia Alzenri B. Geniares and Jericho C. Gutwal Prison J. P. Item Brian Dave S. Lagrosa Alcleo Jericho D. Magalona John Mark B. Malintad John Carlo N. Navaja Yuki Mar Adro B. Nepomuceno Jezrael S. Salinas Ferdinand II M. Sareliana Romel M. Tenorio Gerald O. Baklay April D. Baisak Princess. Hibaya Angel May N. Laguna Romelo Nicole B. Lanchan, Jamaica. Manginsawan Abigail B. Osen Jean Rose S. Polistico Emma Joy P. Saling Almera A. Tisado Mariza O.
The last but not the least, Ma'am Anna Marie T. Sugano, Advisor of Grade 12 Zeus.
Technical, Vocational and Livelihood Track. Information and Communications Technology Strength. Specialization in Computer System Servicing NC2. Abad Robinson G. Avellana Kobe John E. Adlaon Cyrus M. Balulot Kevin J. Belandres Janre P. Cortez Glenn N. Corato Earl Mike L. Dayondon Aljan B. De Los Reyes Jofer O. De Rivar Dan Christopher L. Familiar Rance Carl I. Gigayon Nathaniel T. Ignoro Andy Val B. Eric Engelbert W. Lavria Jed J. Maggido Lonnie S. Plazo Christian Noel M. Riquilio Brian Dave P. Alam Hanessa B. Conde Juliana D. Ferrell Miriam D. Igbuhay Jessica B. La Rosa April D. Lapinid Remy A. Makiling Edelmi S. Matunhay Nelly Jane. Milano Angel. Salapaini Lowerly C. Sanchez Ellen Mar S. Simon Desiree L. Sharon Miyuki N. Sharon Princess N. Tukay Marielene D.
Once again, to our dear graduates, congratulations! Thank you, grade 12 advisors. Without your endless patience, motivations, guidance, and training, the journey of our dear students would be very difficult. At this juncture, we now present to you the outstanding graduates for this school year 2020-2021. May we call on Dr. Hazel L. Taladua, Senior High School Focal Person.
Grade 12 Academic Excellence Awardees with honors. Aringo Richie Jules P.
Ate Denicel F.
Conde Juliana D. Curator Earl Mike L. Lagria Jeff J. Makiling Edelmi S. Malangis Gleatricia B. Malbago Edeline A. Masukol Aldren Q.
Matuhay Mary Jane.
Paraiso Mayans A. Charot Miyuki N.
Charot Princess N.
Tukay Marialine D. Congratulations!
Thank you, Ma'am Taladua. In behalf of the school's administrative staff and faculty, we joyfully congratulate the graduates, their parents, and advisors. Once again, congratulations, graduates! Go forward, grow, and be successful. A great philosopher, John Dewey, once said, "Education is not a preparation for life. Education is life itself." May we also take this opportunity to thank everyone who unselfishly cooperated and participated in any undertakings of this year's Dr. Santiago Dakudao Senior National High School Virtual Graduation Ceremony. Sa inyo pong lahat, marami pong salamat and mabuhay!